Afternoon, guys. Hope everybody's doing good. This is Shane and Chris. We're going to do our weekly installment of the fishing report. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope all you moms had a great day yesterday. Just want to give you a quick recap of my weekend. I actually had a pretty good weekend. I fished 2 little tournaments at Lake Norman. I fished on Saturday and I fished on Sunday. I caught me 5 Saturday that weighed 10.92 and I finished 2nd place. Had a good day. I caught a lot of fish. Basically had what I had by 10 o'clock. Landed on the shad spot on Saturday morning. Had 5 largemouth. It's only about the 3rd or 4th time I've ever done that at Lake Norman, where I had no spotted bass in my bag at the end of the day. But caught 2 on a buzzbait, 2 on a spinnerbait, and then flipped me out 1 on a worm, and just had a good day. And basically had what I had by 10 o'clock, and I had about 4 hours, and I thought if I caught me one more, I had a 3.5 pound largemouth, and I thought if I caught me one more, maybe 3.5, 4 pounds, I'd have a shot and win. And I was very close to winning. The guy that won only beat me by about just a handful of ounces. But switched up, tried to catch me one more, and it never just didn't pan out. But I still did good Saturday, finished 2nd place. I fished yesterday as well at Lake Norman, and I gambled a little bit yesterday morning. I had a little spot, had a little area where I really caught them good Saturday, and I thought I had probably, burned through everything that was in there. So yesterday morning I kind of went and fished a different area, and I struggled a little bit yesterday morning. About 11 o'clock I didn't have a whole lot. I had a limit, but it didn't weigh a whole lot, and I said, well, dang, I said I better do something else. I kind of had to back up and punt a little bit. So I came back down the lake, and I went in that one little place where I was at Saturday, and I just went to smoking them. I called everything I had in the box twice, and I kind of outthought myself. I really thought that I had caught about all that I could catch in there on Saturday, but there was really just a lot of fish in that one little spot. And I had an opportunity to win a tournament yesterday. I threw my Ned rig up beside a pier, and I picked it up, and there was one on it, and I reeled down and I pulled back on him. I was like, man, I don't know what that is, but it's big, and it was about a 4-pound spotted bass. And I saw him when he came out from underneath the pier, and I said, ooh, me, that's the one I need, Well, that joker come barreling out of the water, and I kid you not, he jumped, he cleared the water that far. Any of you guys that have caught spotted bass know they like nothing about staying in the water when you hook them. They like to jump, and they really can get out of the water when they really put their mind to it. And he just cleared the water by looked like maybe 3 or 3.5, and I didn't do anything wrong. He just come off. I mean, he just come up and flung it, and I hooked him on a Ned rig. And most time when you hook one on a Ned rig, it's got a little hook on it, and I was using one of Dave's, and it's got an owner hook in it. I very rarely ever lose a fish on that thing. But he just jumped so far out of the water, and he shook his head at the same time. And what he did, he just threw it back at me, and he just come off. And that was probably about 12:30, and I knew when he come off, this time of the year at Lake Norman, you're only going to get 1 or 2 bites like that. And I had one really decent spot, probably 2.5 pounder or so, in the box when that happened. And I knew when he come off that it's just hard to make that up. And I just knew when he come off that I probably was not going to win, and I didn't. I finished 3rd. I only had 7.92. It was just a tough day. I mean, I caught a lot of fish. I probably caught 25 keepers yesterday, but a lot of them were just 14-inch spots. And I had 2 largemouth and 3 spots yesterday. But when I lost that one, I knew right then and there. I said it's going to be hard to make that up because it's so hard to get a bite like that down there right now. And when you get a bite like that, you got to capitalize. You got to put them in the boat. And like I said, I didn't do anything wrong. He just came off. But it was still a fun day. I had a good weekend. I'm leading the points in that division of that little tournament with 2 tournaments left to go. That's this weekend. One day's at High Rock, one day's at Baden, and I look forward to it. If I can have me 2 pretty decent days, I'll be able to win the points. And I've always put a huge emphasis on winning points titles. That shows consistency all through the year versus just winning a one-day tournament. But we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited. We'll kind of see what happens. On to the fishing reports. One thing about this time of the year, May has always been a great month to catch them on top. For the most part, I believe the fish are done spawning. Even with the water, I mean, I'm down here, I'm on the lake today and the water's 65 degrees, which is just very abnormal for this part of May. Most time by now it's 72, 73, even 75 sometimes. And I mean, we just had a lot of cool weather. Still, just like, when we talked last week, the wind's still blowing every day. It's blowing 25 today, and the high's only like 62 or 63. And it's been like that for about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 weeks now. And I've never saw it blow like it's blew, for it to be this time of the year, like what it's done in the last several weeks. But anyway, the one thing about May's always been a great topwater month. And Saturday morning, the 2 biggest ones I caught on a buzzbait. I caught a 3.5 and a 3 pound largemouth on a 1/4 ounce Dave's Tournament Tackle Buzzbait. And this is the one that I throw right here. A lot of guys use a lot of guys like to use a toad, and I will when it gets a little later on in the year, but this time of the year, you know, the shad spawn is just phenomenal right now. And if you land on the right place, you can catch a lot of fish quick, and you can catch some really good fish quick. And that's what I did Saturday morning. You know, I went to where I knew there were some shad spawn fish at, and it was absolutely the right move. And I caught the 2 biggest ones I caught on a buzzbait, and I caught a couple yesterday on it as well. Like I said, that's a 1/4 ounce Dave's Tournament Tackle Buzzbait. It's got a sexy shad color skirt with a gold blade, and one thing I never do, I never use a buzzbait without a trailer hook on it. You just don't. That's just a no-no, you know, especially when you're fishing lakes that have spotted bass in them. Spots are notorious for short striking. Now, largemouth can be this time of the year too. A lot of fish, like I said, I believe most of the fish are done spawning. We're kind of going into a post-spawn phase now. And they're up guarding fry, but they're still shallow, you know, and they're getting over the rigors of spawning. You know, spawning's really hard on fish. I mean, they go for about a 2 or 3 week spell there when they're spawning, they don't eat. I mean, you know, they're guarding their nest, and now they're guarding their fry, but now they're starting to get back hungry again, and they're really putting on the feed, trying to get over from everything they lost when they were spawning. And I love to throw a buzzbait. You can cover water, you can throw it around docks, you can throw it in grass, and you can throw it around a seawall, around rock first thing in the morning when those shad are spawning. And right now, the shad spawn is really key. You know, like yesterday morning at Norman, I guessed wrong, and I didn't land on the shad spawn, and I struggled to catch what I caught yesterday. I mean, I did pretty good yesterday afternoon, you know, and I kind of pulled it out in the end. But if you land on that bite right now, first thing, you got about a 2 or 3 hour window, and you know it extends as it goes through today if you fish around shad, or if you get a little wind blowing, or if you got cloud cover. But the shad spawn right now is just, I mean, it's just, and you know when you get around them, I don't nobody have to tell you, but a buzzbait is a really good thing to use when they're doing that. You know, a lot of people, when I like to throw a buzzbait, I'm throwing around targets, I'm making short casts, I'm not making a real long cast. And you know, I like to use that's a 6'8" medium heavy action level rod. That is 40-pound canine braid. I like to throw braid on my buzzbait. You know, when they hit it, you got them, you don't have a lot of stretch. That's a 7-to-1 reel, ardent reel. You know, you want to wind that thing pretty quick. You know, it's almost like pitching and flipping. You're going to throw it right up there close to the target, you're going to wind it past it, and you're going to wind it back in, and you're going to make another presentation. You know, when you're doing this first thing in the morning, it's all about covering water. You know, I have my trolling motor on 7 or 8, and I try to fish as fast as I can, you know, and I love to throw a buzzbait. There's a couple other baits you can throw this time of the year too. You know, a poplar style bait is really, really good to throw as well. You know, you can throw it in a shady place, you know, fish are guarding fry, you can throw it up there and you just kind of pop, and it'll stay in one spot, and it'll just aggravate them, and they'll just come up and blast. I mean, and it's, you know, if you poll any number of fishermen, you know, their most favorite way to fish, they're going to tell you a lot of times that it might not be their most favorite way to fish, but the funnest way to catch one is to catch one on top. And May has always been a great topwater month to do that. I use the same combo on that. I use braid. I use 40-pound braid. I use a 6'8" medium heavy action level rod. It's the same combo that I use a buzzbait on, because you're throwing it around targets. You're going to make a short cast. You're going to pop. You're going to wind it back in. And you're going to throw right back and make another presentation. Like I said, it's all about covering water. Another thing that works really good, especially on lakes that have long sloping points on them, or blue heron or anything like that, is a gunfish or a Zara spook or a walking style bait. That's you do have to use a little different setup on that, because you're making long casts. I use a 7-foot medium heavy action level rod. I still use 40-pound braid, but you want to use a longer rod on that because you're making a long cast. You can walk that thing back, and you need to use a high-speed reel, like a 7.3 or 7.5-1. I use an ardent reel for that as well, because they're going to hit that thing a long ways away from the boat, and you need to be able to take up line. And the braid really helps with that. 40-pound canine braid helps with that, because you don't have any stretch, and they hit it so far away from the boat, you reel down and you pull into them, and you can really get a good hook set in them, and you can keep them down and keep them from jumping. And like I said, this is just a fun time of the year to be on the water. Fish are still shallow. They hadn't started transitioning to their their offshore style place, and they're not going to. You know, it's not going to warm up. It's not going to get back normal again until probably about the end of the week or so. And now the next week when we talk, it may be a little bit different, but as of right now, if you guys get a chance, get out there, get after it, tie your topwater bait on. It's a fun way to fish. Go see what you can catch. Everybody stay safe. Hope everybody has a great week. We'll talk to you guys again next week, same time, same place. Y'all have a good one. Thanks.